Chakras, Everything You Should Know About Balance, Healing, and Meditation by Fred Taylors. Narrated by Brandon Suku. Chapter 1. What are chakras? The fact is that checking your chakras is just something that I do each time. I actually believe it's so crucial to keep the energy flowing in these 7 primary energy focus points of our body, specifically when it comes to BIE and helping the body achieve inner balance. Although not everybody seems familiar with the chakra system, it is definitely being talked about a lot more often in yoga classes, Reiki sessions, meditations, by holistic practitioners. While Western clinical research isn't plentiful, it's said that the chakra system came from India back between 1500 and 500 BC in the oldest text called the Vedas, Sanskrit and Hinduism Bibles. In my perspective, it only takes one session of getting to know your energy systems to know that it is undoubtedly very real and resonating within you at each second of the day. My objective for you today is to introduce you to the chakras and to give you a little insight on why you would want to do inner work on keeping them healthy and the energy easily flowing. What is a chakra? Chakra is a Sanskrit word which actually translates to wheel or disc. It can also describe whirlpool or whirlwind, chakravakam. Nonetheless, in yoga, meditation, and the practice of Ayurvedic medicine, chakra describes wheels of energy throughout the body. There are numerous maps created of the chakra system. There are actually thousands of complex channels and points, think acupuncture and the meridian lines, and significant main and side channels. Although there are 7 primary chakras, some say there can even be up to 114. This includes above and below our physique, subtle body, or astral body. But not to worry about all those. Today, we are going to be focusing on the 7 primary chakras. These 7 main chakras, which line up with the spine, beginning with the base of the spine, root chakra, through to the top of the head, crown chakra. Chakra are like swirling wheels of energy, where the physical and consciousness meet. This energy is called prana, the crucial vital force, which is what keeps us dynamic, healthy, and alive. Each chakra corresponds to enormous nerve centers and significant organs in the body. Each of these 7 main chakras also include our mental, psychological, and spiritual states of being. The objective is that our 7 chakras stay open, aligned, and with the energy moving fluidly between each of them and also linking them all. If there's a clog in one or many, then the energy can't flow throughout our body and creates stagnant energy, which in time will manifest in different imbalances, emotional, physical, etc. Keeping the energy flowing easily within our body and our chakras open is much easier to do when you have consciousness of them and what an imbalance might feel like. Helping to stabilize one also helps to bring and keep the others in balance too. The following is a rundown of these 7 chakras, what each represent, what physique parts are connected with each, crystals and essential oils used to help balance them, and also what signs you might feel if there's a block. The 7 chakras. 1. The root chakra. Sanskrit name, Mooladhara. Mool equals root, and Adhara equals support. This chakra, as per its name, relates to groundedness, our survival impulses, and basic needs. This chakra is our structure and is all about feeling safe and secure. It's connected to how we nurture ourselves, food and water, and our home, shelter and cash, and on a psychological level feeling safe and releasing fear. Its goal, survival, security, and stability. Place, base of spine. Physique, feet, knees, legs, perineum, kidneys, adrenals, base of spinal column, and large intestines. Color: red. Aspect: earth. Crystals: bloodstone, garnet, ruby, and red jasper. Essential oils: arbovitae, basil, cedarwood, myrrh, patchouli, vetiver, fir, balance blend, on guard blend. When it is blocked, a range of conditions can happen from energetic blockages of this chakra, usually consisting of anxiety conditions, fears, disconnection from body, and poor limits. Physically, the first chakra is related to issues in the colon, bladder, lower back, legs, or feet issues. Positive affirmation: I'm a celestial being of light. I am serene, safeguarded, and protected. 2. The sacral chakra. Sanskrit name: Svadhisthana. Sva equals one zone. Adhisthana is residence or seat, or a person's own base. This chakra is accountable for our creative and sexual energies. It is also our connection with others and new experiences and having healthy boundaries. The purpose: genuine creation, developer, soul fire, and sexuality. Location: somewhat right below the navel. Physical body: reproductive organs, spleen, urinary system, and low back. Color: orange. Component: water. Crystals: citrine, orange calcite, carnelian, and fire opal. Essential oils: black pepper, cypress, tangerine, cinnamon, orange, citrus happiness blend, purifying cleansing blend, clary calm blend, and whisper blend. When it's blocked. Energetic blocks in this chakra will typically lead to feelings of mental illness or feeling uninspired creatively. Being afraid of changes, lack of desires, or addiction-like behaviors are also common. On a physical level, it can be linked with disorders of the reproductive system, menstrual troubles, and sexual dysfunction. Positive affirmation: I am authentically creating a life devoid of tension and loaded with happiness. 3. The solar plexus chakra. Sanskrit name: Manipura. Mani equals gem, Pura equals city, also known as a shiny gem. This chakra is your source of personal power, ruling over self-esteem. It controls our capability to be positive and in control of our lives. It's also related to fear, stress, and our sense of purpose. It leads all things metabolic, gastrointestinal, and stomach-related. The purpose: power, self-worth, confidence, self-esteem. Location: slightly above the navel. Physique: spinal column, spleen, upper abdomen, gallbladder, pancreas, small intestines, digestion system, metabolism. Color: yellow. Component: fire. Crystals: amber, golden topaz, sunstone, citrine, yellow calcite. Essential oils: bergamot, cassia, clove, fennel, ginger, grapefruit, juniper berry, digest zen or zengest blend, slim plus sassy or smart plus sassy blend. When it's blocked. Energetic blocks in this chakra can typically be seen as low self-esteem, having trouble making decisions, and may have anger or control concerns. On a physical level, most imbalances will be seen in the gastrointestinal system and metabolic systems like diabetes and hypoglycemia. Positive affirmation. I am effective, positive, and successful in all my ventures. 4. The heart chakra. Sanskrit name: Anahata, unstruck or safe. This chakra represents where the physical and spiritual meet. Though it governs all organs of the chest, it is also all about our ability to love and the awakening to spiritual consciousness. When your heart chakra is aligned and stabilized, love and empathy flow freely in both giving and getting. The purpose: love, pleasure, inner peace. Location: heart area. Physical body: heart, lungs, thymus, breasts, arms. Color: green. Element: air. Crystals: amazonite, chrysocolla, emerald, rose quartz, green aventurine. Essential oils: cardamom, eucalyptus, geranium, lime, marjoram, melaleuca, rose, thyme, peppermint, ylang-ylang. Calmness calming blend, elevation joyful blend, breathe and easy air respiratory blend. When it's blocked. If your heart chakra is closed, there will usually be a ton of emotions of sorrow, anger, envy, fear of betrayal, or hatred toward yourself and others. This can also produce depression, solitude, judgmental feelings, or envy obstructing your chances to love someone. Physical manifestations are often related to the heart and circulatory problems or the lungs and breathing problems. Positive affirmation. I'm giving and getting love easily and unconditionally. 5. The throat chakra. Sanskrit name: Vishuddha, filtration or cleaning. The throat chakra rules all areas of communication, ensuring that you're speaking your inner feelings and facts and that they're being appropriately communicated. It's also about our ability to listen also. Are we listening to others? But more importantly, are we listening to ourselves? Purpose: communication, self-expression of emotions, speaking the truth, holding secrets. Location: center of throat and neck. Physique: throat, voice, neck, thyroid, parathyroid, jaw, mouth, larynx, ears. Color: blue. Aspect: ether or sound. Crystals: angelite, apatite, celestite, aquamarine, blue lace agate, sodalite, lapis lazuli, blue-green. Essential oils: birch, lavender, oregano. When it's blocked. Usually, when there is a block in this chakra, you are holding in your emotions and not speaking your truth. You could have a fear of speaking, difficulty putting emotions into words, shyness, or a weak voice. Usually, there is a worry of judgment from others. In an overexcited state, you might also talk way too much, potentially as a defense mechanism, or struggle to listen to others. Physical concerns are frequently sore throats, thyroid concerns, neck and shoulder stiffness, or tension headaches. Positive affirmation. I am speaking plainly and truthfully with grace and ease. 6. The third eye chakra. Sanskrit name: Anja. Command: the third eye is your instinct. It's your perspective on reality, creativity, memory, wisdom, and the ability to think and make choices. It is also connecting your higher and lower self and intuitive clarity. It is the link between you and the outside world, enabling you to cut through illusions to see the clear picture. Its goal: instinct, creativity, knowledge, ability to think and make choices. Location: middle of forehead. Physique: brain health, pineal gland, vision. Color: indigo. Element: light. Crystals: amethyst, blue quartz, choroid, lepidolite, purple fluorite. Sodality: sodalite, lapis lazuli. Essential oils: clary sage, lemongrass, immortelli anti-aging blend, in-tune focus blend, past tense tension blend. When it is blocked: if your lower chakras are unbalanced, the third eye will most likely be too. You may have a difficult time taking advantage of your intuition, or not trusting it if you do. You could wind up acting more judgmental, dismissive, and even reclusive, often with emotions of anxiety and depressions. On a physical level, it can be connected with issues like headaches, dizziness, vision problems, memory concerns, or other brain health problems. Positive affirmation: I'm tuned into the divine to follow the path to my purpose. 7. The crown chakra. Sanskrit name: Sahasrara, thousand-petaled. The crown chakra is the meeting point between your physical body and individual awareness. It's when a greater state or universal consciousness is met. That's what allows you to experience spiritual growth and feel linked to the entire universe. This chakra helps you move past your materialistic needs, accessing the utmost clearness and enlightened wisdom. Purpose: cognition. Our connection to spirituality and higher self and life purpose. Location: top and center of the head. Physical body: hypothalamus, main nerve system, cerebral cortex. Color: violet and/or white. Element: thought. Crystals: clear quartz, diamond, lepidolite, moonstone, sugilite, amethyst, sapphire. Essential oils: frankincense, helichrysum, lemon, melissa, Roman chamomile, rosemary, sandalwood, Zendocrine detox blend, DDR prime cellular complex. When it's blocked: when the crown chakra is imbalanced, it can trigger you to feel out of sorts and put tension on your body and mind. This can create feelings of seclusion and disconnection from everyone and everything. It can also impede your capability to let go of materialistic needs. If overactive, you can experience a disconnection from your physical body and earthly matters, and even produce an absence of empathy. A really good balance is needed with the crown chakra, so as not to get lost in the expansiveness of our universe. Positive affirmation: I'm one with my higher self, and one with the divine. Stabilizing the chakras. Having the consciousness to which of your chakras are just out of balance is key to bringing them into alignment, not underactive nor overactive. Simply because our energies are in continuous flux, figuring out which chakra is imbalanced can be difficult if you do not have an obvious problem. The best way is to begin listening to your physique's signals and clues. Checking out these 7 chakras. Did one or more stand apart to you? Did any of the psychological or physical conditions connected to each sound familiar to what you personally have been fighting with? This is your body that's giving you various clues that energetic imbalances in your energy centers are out of balance. The longer the imbalances reside within you, the larger the health or psychological issue will end up being. There are numerous ways to help stabilize your chakras. Essential oils and crystals can be extremely practical in this process. Check out the crystals and oils noted for the chakras you feel need the most support, and add some into your day-to-day routine to see how you see the shifts in energy for you. Make sure you say your affirmations as well to help bring intent to your actions. Having a routine meditation practice is also very practical, and I find most impactful on having the ability to determine which chakras really need support and what's the root of the imbalance. Chapter 2. How the root chakra's shadow could be keeping you from authenticity. Although chakras aren't just physical structures, they could be the source of injuries and dysfunction in the body. Each of the primary 7 chakras is a point of highly concentrated energy, and that energy associates with a distinct set of themes. When the energy of a particular chakra runs out of balance, it can influence someone's physical, mental, and emotional experiences related to the corresponding theme of that chakra. Energetic injuries are just chaotic fields in the indirect or energetic body, and this is often where illness and dysfunction start. Chakra healing is a process of moving from the shadow frequency into the gift of that specific chakra. The shadow state fuels health problems, dysfunction, and discontentment, while the gift frequency creates health and consistency. This primer covers the injuries of the first chakra, the root chakra, and how to receive more from the root's shadow to its gift. The shadow of the root chakra is repression. This is the most ancient mental wound there is. It typically forms at a really young age as we quelch parts of ourselves in an effort to secure love and approval. In the early years of life, being loved and accepted by our primary caretakers is critical to survival just because we actually do need them to take care of us to keep us alive. So when we feel as though that love is being threatened, the primitive fight or flight response kicks in and we fear for our survival. We quickly and naturally learn how to quelch those parts of ourselves that we believe are unlovable, and we selectively express the qualities and habits that our caretakers respond lovingly to. These moments in early life when we feel unloved are typically basic misconceptions. But whether we are really loved or not is irrelevant. What drives the injury of repression is the perception that expressing ourselves might lead to rejection or desertion and threaten our security. The ways we react to this belief begin to form our characters and the rest of our lives. Though this injury forms in the first 7 years of life, it plants the seed for a lifetime of inauthentic and insufficient expression of oneself. As we mature, we know that the human survival is not depending on the love or acceptance of others, but on a cellular level, it feels that way, and we stay deathly afraid to totally express ourselves. Until we are mindful of this injury, we can't heal it. Physical signs of the root chakra's shadow. Lots of my clients with root chakra problems are extremely unhappy in their business jobs. They frantically want to go after another profession course, but they are horrified of losing the stable income and advantages, and they're equally scared of what their family and friends will think. When we explore their frustration, we always find dysfunction in the root chakra. We notice that they didn't decide on their existing profession path because it's what they truly really wanted. They chose it because it made their parents or caretakers proud, or it paid well, or provided job security or social status. We find that they have been quelching parts of themselves for so long that they cannot even recall who they authentically are and have not a clue what will actually make them happy. To heal the injury of repression, one should move from the state of fear to a state of trust. This is the healing path of the root chakra. The real gift of the root chakra is trust. Curing the shadow of the root chakra is about cultivating a sense of safety in a risky world. We can't fully reveal ourselves if we do not feel safe to do so learning to rely on life is essential. One must rely on that whatever happens is in the service of their special course, and even if it's the absolute worst thing imaginable, it will still be okay. Trust is vital in creating a strong foundation in the root chakra, and that gives us the stability to rise into the higher frequencies of the upper chakras. The shift from fear to trust isn't a simple one, since it needs trusting that it is safe to be who you truly are. It's safe to reveal all parts of oneself, even the ones that we believe to be unlovable. This is where true credibility emerges, and we discover what we actually want. 3 workouts to support healing from the shadow of the root chakra. 1. Develop awareness. The initial step of healing the injury of repression is to end up being mindful of it. Begin to see where you hide parts of yourself. Do you appear in a different way with your good friends or coworkers than you do with your family? Without changing anything, just become aware of what attributes or habits you share with the different people around you in your life. 2. Face your fear. Determine something you want to do in your life that you have not yet because you're afraid. Do not try to talk yourself out of the fear. Allow yourself to be afraid, but challenge yourself to do that thing you want to do. Tell yourself that it will be scary and you're going to be okay. No matter what, you'll be okay. 3. Use your imagination. Close your eyes and envision what your life would seem like if love, approval, and security were ensured. What would be different if you had no fear at all? What you picture in this exercise is precisely where healing your root chakra will take you. Chapter 3. Unidentified Features of Chakras. Over the past 100 years, the concept of the chakras, or subtle energy centers within the body, has seized the Western imagination more than practically any other teaching from the yoga tradition. Yet, as with many other concepts originating from Sanskrit sources, the West, barring a handful of scholars, has not really been able to come to grips with what the chakra concept meant in its original context and how one is supposed to experiment them. This book seeks to rectify that circumstance to some degree. If you are short on time, you can skip the contextual remarks I'm about to make and go straight to the list of these 6 fundamental facts about the chakras that modern yogis don't know. First off, how do we define chakra? In the tantric traditions, from which the idea derives, chakras, or Sanskrit chakras, are centerpieces for meditation within the human body, visualized as structures of energy looking like discs or flowers at those points where a number of nadis, channels or meridians, assemble. They are conceptual structures, yet are phenomenologically based, since they have a tendency to be located where human beings experience psychological and/or spiritual energy. And since the form in which they are visualized shows visionary experiences had by meditators. Above, I said that the West has so far could not understand chakras. Let me clarify that by the West, I mean not only Euro-American society, but also the elements of modern-day Indian culture that are notified by the Euro-American cultural matrix. Since at this point, it is almost unrealistic to find a kind of yoga in India not affected by Euro-American ideas about it, when I use the term Western, I also include the majority of the mentors on yoga in India today that exist in the English language. Okay, I'll give it to you straight. For the most part, Western yoga understands nearly nothing about the chakras that the original traditional idea was necessary about them. You see, if you read a book like Anodia Judith's well-known Wheels of Life or such like, it is necessary to understand that you are not reading a work of yoga philosophy, but of Western occultism, based on three main sources. 1. Earlier works of Western occultism that borrow and adjust Sanskrit terms without really understanding them, like Theosophist C.W. Leadbeater's The Chakras, 1927. 2. John Woodruff's problematic 1918 translation of a text on the chakras written in Sanskrit in 1577. See below for more on this. And 3. 20th century books by Indian yoga masters which are themselves mostly based upon sources 1 and 2. Books on the chakras based on sound understanding of the original Sanskrit sources so far exist only in the scholastic world. However, does that matter? Yogis ask me. I have benefited so much from Anodia Judith's book and others like it. Don't take that away from me. I won't, and I can't. Whatever benefit you've received from whatever source is real if you say it is. I'm just here to tell you two things. First, that when modern-day Western authors on the chakras suggest they exist age-old teachings, they're tricking you. But they do not know that they are, because they can't evaluate the validity of their own source materials, since they don't read Sanskrit. Second, for the ones that are interested, I'm here to let you know a bit about what yogic ideas mean in their original framework. Just because I am a Sanskrit scholar and a specialist who happens to choose the conventional forms. Only you can assess whether that is of any benefit to you. I'm not saying that older is fundamentally better. I am not attempting to suggest there's no spiritual value to Western occultism. I'm just eliminating the historical truth in simple English words as best as I can. So I'll get on with it now. These 6 basic facts about the chakras that modern yogis don't know. 1. There's not just one chakra system in the initial tradition, there are many. So many. The concept of the subtle body and its energy centers called chakras, or padmas, lotuses, adharas, lakshyas, focal points, and so forth, originates from the custom of tantric yoga, which flourished from 600 to 1300 CE, and is still alive today. In mature tantric yoga, after the year 900 or so, every one of the many branches of the custom articulated a different chakra system, and some branches articulated more than one. 5 chakra systems, 6 chakra systems, 7, 9, 10, 12, 21, and more chakras are taught, depending upon what text and what lineage you're taking a look at. The 7, or technically 6 plus 1, chakra systems that Western yogis know about is just one of many, and it became dominant around the 15th century. See point number 4 below. Now I know what you're thinking, but which system is right? How many chakras are there actually? And that brings us to our first significant misunderstanding. The chakras aren't like organs in the physical body. They aren't fixed facts that we can study, like medical professionals research and study neural ganglia, with which the chakras were puzzled in the 19th century. The energy body, Sukshma Sharira, is an extremely fluid reality, as we should expect of anything non-physical and supersensuous. The energy body can present, experientially speaking, with any number of energy centers, depending on the person and the yogic practice they are carrying out. Having said that, there are several centers which are found in all systems. Specifically, in the lower belly or sexual center, in the heart, and in or near the crown of the head, since these are 3 places in the body where humans all over the world experience both psychological and spiritual phenomena. However, apart from those 3, there's a huge variety in the chakra systems we find in the original literature. One isn't more right than another, except relative to a specific practice. Here's an example. If you're doing a 5-element practice, you use a 5-chakra system. See point number 6 right below. If you're internalizing the energy of 6 different divine beings, you use a 6-chakra system. Duh, right? But this vital little bit of info has not yet reached Western yoga. We've only just began down this rabbit hole, Alice. Want to discover more? 2. The chakra systems are prescriptive, not descriptive. This may be the most essential point. English sources tend to present the chakra system as an existential fact, using detailed language, like the Muladhara chakra is at the base of the spine, and it is red, and so on. But in most of the original Sanskrit sources, we aren't being taught about the way things are. We are being given a specific yoga practice. We are to visualize a subtle object made from colored light, formed like a lotus or a spinning wheel, at a certain point in the body, and after that, activate mantric syllables in it for a particular purpose. When you understand this, point number 1 above makes more sense. The texts are prescriptive. They tell you what you ought to do to attain a certain goal by mystical means. When the actual Sanskrit reads, in its elliptical fashion, 4-petaled red lotus at the base of the body, we are supposed to understand the yogi ought to imagine a 4-petaled lotus. See point number 5 right below for more info on this. 3. The mental states connected with the chakras are totally modern day and Western. On numerous websites and in numerous books, we read that the Muladhara chakra is associated with survival and security, that Manipura chakra is related to self-discipline and self-confidence, and so forth. The informed yogi must know that all associations of the chakras with mental states is a modern-day Western innovation that began with Carl Jung. Maybe such associations represent experiential truths for some people, though usually not without priming, but we definitely don't find them in these Sanskrit sources. Having said that, in that 13th century system, we do not find each chakra connected with a particular feeling or psychological state. Rather, each petal of each lotus chakra is associated with a unique feeling or mental state, and there seems to be no pattern by which we could develop a label for the chakra as a whole. But that's not all. Almost all of the many associations found in Anuruddha Judith's Wheels of Life have no basis in the Indian sources. Each chakra, Judith tells us, is associated with a certain physical gland, certain physical breakdowns, certain foods, a particular meal, a mineral, an herb, a planet, a path of yoga, a suit of the Tarot, a sephira of Jewish mysticism, and an archangel of Christianity. None of these associations are found in the original sources. Judith and her instructors created them based upon perceived similarities. That goes also for the essential oils and crystals that other books and websites claim represent each chakra. I should take note of the fact that Judith does include some info from an initial Sanskrit source, that is the Sat Chakra Nirupana, for which see right below, under the label lotus symbols for each chakra. This is not to say that putting a particular kind of crystal on your stomach when you're having self-confidence concerns and envisioning it purifying your Manipura chakra may not help you feel better. Perhaps it will, depending on the person. While this practice is definitely not traditional and has not been tested over generations, which is the entire point of tradition really, God knows there is more on paradise and earth than is imagined in my rationalist brain. Still, in my view, people should know when the pedigree of a practice is several decades, not centuries. If a practice has value, then you do not really need to falsify its provenance, right? 4. The 7-chakra system popular today derives not from an ancient scripture, but from a treatise written in 1577. The chakra system Western yogas follow is that found in Sanskrit text written by a man called Purnananda Yati. He completed his text, the Sat Chakra Nirupana, or clarification of these 6 chakras, which is actually chapter 6 of a bigger work, in the year 1577, and it was translated into English precisely 100 years ago, in 1918. In an earlier version of this book, I called this 7-chakra system late and somewhat irregular. But after several days, I realized that I was misinterpreted. An easier variation of the same 7-chakra system is found in a 13th century post-scriptural text called the Sarada Talaka. Though that text does clearly acknowledge that there are several chakra systems, such as systems of 12 or 16 chakras. We also find a more intricate version of the same system in the 14th or 15th century Siva Samhita. However, most yogas, both Indian and Western, know the 7-chakra system through Purananada's 16th century work, or rather, through the somewhat incoherent and confusing translation of it, done by John Woodruff in 1918. Still, it's true enough to say that this 7-chakra system has been dominant for the last 4 or 5 centuries. But it is also true that the westernized 7-chakra system you know is based upon early 20th century occultist analysis of a problematic translation of a non-scriptural source. This by no means invalidates it, but rather serves to problematize its hegemony. Remember that Tantric Buddhism, i.e. of Tibet, typically maintains older forms, and indeed the 5-chakra system is dominant in that tradition, and also the more fundamental 3-bindu system. For a common 5-chakra system as has been seen in classical Tantra, see page 387 of my book, Tantra Illuminated. 5. The main purpose of a chakra system is to function as a design template for nyasa, setup of mantras and deities. As far as the original authors were concerned, the primary purpose of any chakra system was to work as a design template for nyasa, which means the installation of mantras and deity energies at particular points of the subtle body. So, though countless people are amazed with the chakras today, practically none of those people are using them for their desired purpose. And that's all right. Aside from that, I am not here to make anyone wrong, just to inform the folks who are interested. The most impressive features of the chakra systems in the original sources are these 3. 1. That the mystical sounds of the Sanskrit alphabet are dispersed across the petals of all chakras in the system. 2. That each chakra is related to a certain great element, earth, water, fire, wind, and space. And 3. That each chakra is related to a specific Hindu deity or divine being. This is because the chakra system is, as I said, primarily a design template for nyasa. In nyasa, literature meaning pudding, you visualize a specific mantric syllable in a particular location in a specific chakra in your energy body, while silently intoning its sound. Clearly, this practice is embedded in a culturally specific setting in which the sounds of the Sanskrit language are viewed as uniquely powerful vibrations that can form an efficient part of a mystical practice that produces spiritual liberation or worldly advantages through magical beings. Invoking the image and energy of a certain divine being into a certain chakra is also culturally specific. Though if Western yogas come to understand what those deities mean, the practice could possibly be meaningful for them too, though probably never as significant as for somebody who grew up with those divine beings as being paradigmatic icons emblazoned in their subconscious minds. The so-called cause deities, Karana Devatas, figure mostly in each chakra system. Those divine beings form a fixed sequence. From the lowest chakra to the greatest, they are Ganesh, Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, Isvara, Sadasiva, and Bhairava, with the first and the last of these typically not appearing, depending on the number of chakras. The last deity in the list of cause deities is never the ultimate divine being of the given system, for that divine being, whoever it is enthroned in the Sahasrara or thousand-petaled lotus on the crown of the head, which technically is not a chakra, since chakras by definition are pierced by Kundalini in her climb or descent, while the Sahasrara is her location and home. For that reason, Bhairava, the most esoteric form of Shiva, is only included in the list of cause deities when he is gone beyond by the goddess, the latter being the supreme deity in tons of these systems. 6. The seed mantras that you believe go with the chakras really go with the aspects that happen to be installed in those chakras. This is simpler than it sounds. You have been told that the seed mantra, bija, of the Muladhara chakra is Lam. Well, it is not. Not in any Sanskrit source. Not even in Purnanada's somewhat garbled syncretic account. And the mantra of Svadhisthana chakra isn't Vam. Let me explain. It's simple. Lum rhymes with thumb, is the seed mantra of the earth aspect, which in most chakra visualization practices is set up in the Muladhara. Vam is the seed mantra of the water aspect, which is set up in Svadhisthana, at least in the 7 chakra system you know about. And so on. Rum is the syllable for fire, Yum for wind, and Hum for space. All these bijas rhyme with thumb, though I should take note that in mystical tantric yoga, the essential bijas actually have various vowel sounds which are thought to be a lot more powerful. So the main point is that the basic mantras connected with the first 5 chakras in every site you can Google actually don't come from those chakras per se, but rather to the 5 elements installed in them. This is essential to know if you ever want to install one of those components in a much different place. Gasp! I can do that? Totally. Actually, in different tantric family trees, we find the elements set up in extremely different places. An example would be the following. The Saidhantika lineage set up earth in the heart chakra. What do you think could be the effect on your relationships of always setting up the wind aspect in the heart center? Remember, Yum is the mantra of air and wind, not of the Anahata chakra, whose intrinsic mantra is usually Om. Do you ever see that modern American yogis have actually unstable relationships? Could that potentially be connected to consistently conjuring up wind on the level of the heart? Nah. I could be funny now just because only a little percentage of my readers have made it down this far. So perhaps you want to set up some earth in the heart sometime, because grounding benefits your heart. In that case, it is kinda convenient to know that Lum is the earth element mantra, not the Muladhara chakra mantra. Furthermore, the majority of the geometric figures related to the chakras today also appropriately come from the elements. Earth is typically represented by a yellow square, water by a silvery crescent moon, fire by a downward pointing red triangle, wind by a hexagram or 6-pointed star, and space by a circle. So when you see those figures inscribed in illustrations of the chakras, then you know that they are actually representations of those respective elements, not of a geometry fundamental in the chakra itself. This brings me to my last point. Even a Sanskrit source can be puzzled. For example, in Purnanada's 16th century text, that is the basis of the well-known contemporary chakra system, the 5 elements are set up in the first 5 chakras of a 7-chakra system. However, this does not truly work, simply because in all of the classical systems, space aspect is set up at the crown of the head, because that is where the yogi experiences an extensive opening into boundless spaciousness. And space is the element that merges into the boundless, so it has to be at or near the crown. I would hypothesize that Purnananda positioned space at the throat chakra because he lived at a time of increasing dogmatic adherence to the received custom without critical reflection, a pattern which regretfully has continued. And the custom he got was a kala, one in which the classical cause deities got pushed down to include later, higher deities, specifically Bhairava and the goddess. And the elements were uncritically kept fused to the deities and chakras with which they were previously associated. Having said that, the fact that Purnananda was making use of kala sources isn't clear, simply because instead of enthroning the goddess at the Sahasrara, we would expect in a kala 7-chakra system, we find there Paramsiva, potentially as a result of the impact of Vedanta. See the questions and answers in the comments area for more on this. We have barely scratched the surface area of this subject. No, I'm not kidding. It's truly complicated, as you can collect by taking a look at the scholarly literature, like Dori Helliger's Celine's work, or Gudrun Boonemaan's. It takes unusual patience and focus to even read such work, let alone produce it. So here's what I hope will be the result of this particular book: some humility. A few less claims to authority when it comes to actually mystical subjects. Perhaps a few less yoga teachers trying to tell their students what the chakras are all about. I am humbled by the intricacy of the original sources, and that's with 14 years of Sanskrit under my belt. This is still mostly uncharted area. So when it comes down to the chakras, do not declare you know. Tell your yoga students that every book on the chakras presents only one possible model. Virtually nothing written in English is really reliable for specialists of yoga. So why not hold more carefully the beliefs you've obtained about yoga, even while you keep learning? Let's admit we do not fully understand these ancient yoga practices yet. And instead of trying to be an authority on some oversimplified version of them, you can welcome yourself and your students to look more plainly, more truthfully, more carefully, and more non-judgmentally at their own inner experience. After all, everything that each yoga master ever experienced is in you also. Chapter 4. Chakra Meditation. Chakra meditation is maybe one of the most special and detailed forms of meditation out there, and it is also one of the most fulfilling. While usually the majority of people practicing chakra meditation are advanced specialists, this is a kind of meditation that practically anybody can master once they comprehend the essentials. While conscious meditation is pretty basic and is really all about remaining in the moment, chakra meditation initially needs a comprehension of the different chakras or centers of energy that appear throughout your body. So, before you can understand chakra meditation, you really need to comprehend the chakras, what they mean, and why keeping them well balanced is essential. What is chakra meditation? Chakra meditation involves 7 energy centers in the body associated with colors that run from the base of the spine to the crown of the head. What is chakra meditation aiming to accomplish? What are the benefits of chakra meditation? Chakra meditation can help you maintain physical and psychological balance and help you get a more tranquil state. Chakra meditation has been around for countless years. It's based off of the fact that there are 7 different energy-bearing chakras within the body. The objective of this practice is to maintain physical and psychological health and well-being by keeping these chakras stabilized. Chakra meditation believes that if your key chakras are balanced properly, your health and mental mindset will be in a more serene state. When one chakra is out of balance or shut off, you are going to naturally put more energy into the other functional chakras, which can actually overload some chakras and cause them to end up being blocked too, or make others more active than needed. Either way, it can have a pretty serious influence on your overall balance and peace of mind. Chakra meditation can work to open up these blocked chakras for you. How usually have you rushed out the door and into your day without even thinking about how you'd like things to go? Before you know it, something or someone has rubbed you the wrong way, and you have responded immediately with aggravation, impatience, or rage. In other words, you have found yourself acting in a way you never ever meant. You don't need to be stuck in these patterns. Stopping briefly to practice mindfulness for just a few minutes at different times during the day can help your days be better, more in line with how you'd like them to be. Explore these 5 daily practices for bringing more mindfulness into your life. 1. Conscious wake up. Start with a purpose. Intention describes the underlying inspiration for everything we think, say, or do. From the brain's perspective, when we act in unintentional ways, unconscious impulses of the lower brain centers and the slower, mindful, better abilities of the higher centers like the prefrontal cortex. Considered that the unconscious brain supervises of the majority of our decision-making and habits, this practice can help you align your conscious thinking with a primal, psychological drive that the lower centers care about. Beyond security, these include motivations like benefit, connection, purpose, self-identity, and core values. Setting an intent, keeping those primal motivations in mind, helps strengthen this connection between the lower and higher centers. And doing so can change your day, making it more likely that your words, actions, and reactions, particularly at the time of moment of difficulty, will be more mindful and caring. This practice is best done first thing in the early morning, before checking phones or email. 1. On waking, sit in your bed or a chair in a relaxed posture. Close your eyes and get in touch with the sensations of your seated body. Make certain your spinal column is straight, but not stiff. 2. Take 3 long, deep, nourishing breaths, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Then let your breath settle into its own rhythm as you just follow it in and out, noticing the rise and fall of your chest and belly as you breathe. 3. Ask yourself, what is my objective for today? Use these triggers to help answer that question as you think of the people and activities you will face. Ask yourself, how might I appear today to have the best impact? What quality of mind do I want to reinforce and develop? What do I need to take better care of myself? During tough moments, how might I be more caring to others and myself? How might I feel more linked and satisfied? 4. Set your intention for the day. For example, today I will be kind to myself, be patient with others, give kindly, stay grounded, stand firm, have a good time, eat well, or anything else you feel is very important. 5. Throughout the day, check in with yourself. Pause, breathe, and revisit your intent. Notice, as you end up being a lot more mindful of your intents for each day, how the quality of your interactions, relationships, and state of mind shifts. 2. Conscious eating. Enjoy every mouthful. It's simple enough to lower eating to a feeling of bite, chew, and swallow. Who hasn't eaten a plate full of food without noticing what they're doing? Yet eating is just one of the most enjoyable experiences we take part in as people, and doing it mindfully can turn eating into a far richer experience, gratifying not just the need for nutrition, but more subtle senses and needs. When we bring our full attention to our bodies and what we are truly starving for, we can nourish all our appetites. Try this. 1. Breathe right before eating. We typically move from one job right to the other without pausing or taking a breath. By pausing, we slow down and enable a more calm transition to our meals. Bring your attention inward by closing your eyes and start to breathe gradually in and out of your belly for 8 to 10 deep breaths before you start your meal. 2. Listen to your body. After breathing, bring your consciousness to the physical feelings in your stomach. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being that you don't feel any physical experience of cravings, and 10 being that you feel really starving, ask yourself, how starving am I? What physical feelings tell you that you are hungry or not starving? Empty space in stomach, shakiness, no desire to eat, swallow roaring, and so forth. Try not to think about when you last ate or what time it is, and really listen to your body, not your ideas. 3. Eat according to your hunger. Now that you are more in touch with how starving you are, you can be more mindful to choose what to eat, when to eat, and how much to eat. This simple practice can help you tune in to your real needs. 4. Practice tranquil eating. At your next meal, slow down and continue to breathe deeply as you eat. It's not easy to digest or enjoy your food if you aren't relaxed. 5. If you don't really love it, do not eat it. Take your first 3 bites mindfully. Experience the taste, tastes, textures, and how much satisfaction you are getting from a specific food. Make a mindful choice about what to eat based upon what you actually enjoy. 3. Mindful pause. Rewire your brain. It's estimated that 95% of our behavior operates on autopilot, something I call fast brain. This is because neural networks underlie all of our habits, minimizing our countless sensory inputs per second into workable, faster ways so we can operate in this insane world. Those default brain signals are like signaling superhighways, so effective that they often trigger us to relapse into old behaviors before we remember what we meant to do instead. Mindfulness is the exact reverse of these procedures. It's slow brain. It's executive control rather than autopilot and allows intentional actions, self-control, and decisions. But that takes some practice. The more we trigger the slow brain, the stronger it gets. Each time we do something intentional and new, we stimulate neuroplasticity, triggering our gray matter, which is full of recently grown neurons that have not yet been groomed for the fast brain. But here's the issue. While my slow brain knows what's best for me, my fast brain is triggering me to faster way my way through life. So how can we trigger ourselves to be conscious when we need it most? This is where the idea of behavior design comes in. It is a way to put your sluggish brain in the motorist's seat. There are 2 ways to do that. First, slowing down the quick brain by putting challenges in its way, and second, removing obstacles in the course of the slow brain so it can acquire control. Shifting the balance to give your slow brain more power takes some work, however. Here are some ways to get going. 1. Trip over what you want to do. If you intend to do some yoga or to practice meditation, put your yoga mat or your meditation cushion in the middle of your floor so you cannot miss it as you walk by. 2. Revitalize your triggers regularly. Say you choose to use sticky notes to remind yourself of a new intention. That might work for about a week, but then your quick brain and old routines take control of again. Try writing new notes to yourself. Add a variety or make them funny so they stick to you longer. 3. Create new patterns. You could try a series of if this, then that messages to produce easy reminders to move into sluggish brain. For example, you might think of if office door, then deep breath, as a way to shift into mindfulness as you are about to start your workday. Or, if phone rings, take a deep breath before responding to. Each deliberate action to move into mindfulness will reinforce your sluggish brain. 4. Conscious exercise. Activate your mind and your muscles. Riding a bike, lifting weights, sweating it out on a treadmill. What do such exercises have in common? For just one thing, each can be a mindful practice. Whatever the exercise, dancing the tango, taking a swim, instead of just exercising to burn calories, master a skill, or enhance a condition, you can move and breathe in a manner in which not only gets your blood pumping and stimulates every cell in your body, but also moves you from feeling busy and distracted to feeling strong and capable. The following steps, helpful for any activity, will help you integrate body, mind, and nervous system. As you do, you're going to strengthen your capacity to bring all of your energy to the job at hand. 1. Be forward about your aim. As you connect your laces or pull on your gardening gloves, bring purpose to your activity by consciously picturing how you want to guide your session. As you climb on your bike, you might say, I am going to breathe deeply and see the sensation of the breeze and the sun and the passing surroundings. As you enter the pool, you might say, I'm going to pay more attention to each stroke and the sound and feel of the water surrounding me. 2. Warm up, 5 minutes. Try any basic moves, jumping jacks, stretching, and concentrate on matching the rhythm of your breath to your movement. By moving rhythmically, your brain activity, heart rate, and nervous system begin to align and stabilize. 3. Settle into a rhythm, 10 to 15 minutes. Pick up on the intensity, but continue to coordinate your breath and movement. If you have difficulty doing this, then simply concentrate on your breathing for a few minutes. Ultimately, you will find your groove. 4. Challenge yourself, 10 to 15 minutes. Try a faster speed, more repetitions, or much heavier weights, depending on what you are doing. Notice how alert and alive you feel when pushing yourself. 5. Cool off, 5 minutes. Gradually slow down your rate till you come to a dead stop. Notice the way your body feels. Take in all of your surroundings. 6. Rest, 5 minutes. Silently recognize the symphony of sensations flowing in and around you. Practice calling what you feel and sense. Chances are you will feel awake and alive from head to toe. 5. Conscious driving. Drive yourself calm, not crazy. There's nothing like heavy traffic and restless drivers to set off the fight-or-flight reaction. That's why roadway rage emerges and tension levels soar, while reason is overrun. The worse the traffic, the worse the tension. Los Angeles, where I live, has some of the worst traffic around and some of the most unserene drivers. Emotions run high, moods flare, tires squeal. But it doesn't have to be like that. Actually, the snarliest traffic congestion can provide an exceptional opportunity to build your mindfulness muscle, increase your sense of connection to others, and bring back some balance and perspective. Here are the steps to a simple behind-the-wheel practice I've been providing for a while. I've found it can work marvels. 1. First and foremost, take a deep breath. This basic, yet profound advice helps bring more oxygen into your body and widens the space between the stimulus of the traffic and your increased stress response. In this space lies perspective and choice. 2. Ask yourself what you need. It may be in that moment that you need to feel safe, at ease, or you just need some relief. Comprehending what you really need will bring balance. 3. Give yourself what you need. If ease is what you really need, you can scan your body for any tension. Not a bad thing to do while driving in any case, and soften any tension or change your body as needed. You can sprinkle in some phrases of self-compassion, such as, may I be at ease, may I feel safe, may I enjoy. 4. Look around and recognize that all of the other motorists are just like you. Everybody on the roadway wants the exact same thing you do: to feel safe, have a sense of ease, and to be happy. Chances are you'll see a number of fellow motorists who look a bit agitated, but you may also catch that one who is singing or actually smiling, and this will dissipate some of your own stress instantly. You can really apply it to all of them when you just offer to yourself, saying, "May you be at ease, may you feel safe, may you feel more than happy." 5. Take another deep breath. In 15 seconds or less, you can turn around your mood by using these easy ideas. When you feel the disappointment of traffic going up, choose whatever you need to work on and offer that condition to others. If you need to feel safe, say, "May I be safe, may you be safe, may all of us be safe." Breathe in, breathe out. You have planted a seed of happiness. This has been Chakras, everything you should know about balance, healing, and meditation, by Fred Taylors. Narrated by Brandon Suku.